You were attacked once again, Robert, by certain usual suspects. As always, the cry bully tactic is used. They make themselves the victims, you're the perpetrator, but they're lying and they're also slandering you. Tell us what happened here.
Yeah, this was Sahar Aziz, who is a professor at Rutgers University. And she wrote a lengthy study about Islamophobia and its effects, its supposed effects on the public perceptions of the conflict between Israel and Hamas. And of course, she's pro Hamas. And so, in the course of this, she has to uh, have some villains, and she cast me and a few other people in the role and said about me that I actually say explicitly that my goal is to foment hatred of Muslims. Now, of course, not only have I never said that explicitly or implicitly, but that is not actually my goal. My goal is to elucidate, in my work on Islam, to elucidate the true teachings of Islam and to show how they are affecting the actions of Islamic jihadis today. That really has nothing to do with hate or love in any way, but obviously I oppose Islamic jihad and I oppose Islamic jihadis. I wish Muslims the best and hope that they will reject Islamic jihad ultimately and live in peace with other people in the world. But in any case, Sahar Aziz just lied. And so I had a lawyer write to her. She ignored a couple of letters from the lawyer, and I realized she does that because she can. She knows that Rutgers won't do anything to her. Rutgers will back her up if it comes to a lawsuit. She knows she has all the power and I have none. On the lists from the Southern Poverty Law Center and the ADL, and so she can feel free to lie about me because they already have. And so it's kind of interesting because the people who have the real power in society are those who claim to be marginalized and the victims of racism and bigotry. And the people who are really marginalized in society are the people who are supposedly perpetrating the marginalization of those in power.
Yeah, the Islamophobia thing is very successful for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
And, there were so many lies in Sahar Aziz's paper. And another one was something that she built upon from studies that came out in the wake of 9/11. So she's citing these studies from 20 years ago as if they're current. And they were libelous to start with because, well, they were not to, no, they were not libelous in their particular statements, but they were deliberately misleading. And they're even, you can see in even how she uses them how misleading they are. She says something like, 20 Islamophobic organizations received a total of $25 million from 2003 to 2009 or something like that. And if you think about it, it sounds big. It sounds like, oh, people are raking in millions from this. But then if you stopped to do the math, which of course she's counting on nobody doing, then you're seeing that this is an amount of money divided among a number of years, and that makes it smaller. And then it's divided among a number of organizations, and that makes it smaller. And then you have to factor in the fact that the organizations that she cites are not actually Islamophobic, but are security organizations, organizations designed to help the military, organizations that are trying to affect public policy in terms of foreign policy, things like that. And you end up with a small amount being given to these organizations compared to the millions that was given every year and still is to the leftist groups that came up with these bogus studies. And so the whole thing, once again, shows that the people who are really on the outs in American society today are the people who are telling the truth about the jihad and standing up for the defense of the United States in other ways, while the people who are trying to undermine and destroy our national defenses and our national unity are the ones who have all the money and all the power.
yeah, and she's making it sound like you're the one that has all the power and she's marginalized. But like you said, if you look at it, she's the one with the popularity. The legal system will be behind her. all the praise that she gets, and Robert Spencer and other Islamophobes are completely marginalized in our media. In definitely, I mean, you couldn't even. I think, what would happen if you tried to give a talk on a campus today, Robert?
Oh, I got invited, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact, last October to two campuses, and I was relieved, I can tell you, when it turned out that I was not able to make either one of them.
Yeah.
Because I know that if I were to show up on a campus, in the first place, I'd have to have incredibly tight security. I'd have to have security that rivaled the President of the United States
Yeah.
just to keep from getting physically attacked. And if
Yeah.
I didn't get physically attacked, I would certainly be smeared, vilified, demonized, libeled, slandered, et cetera, because that, of course, has gone on for years on campuses whenever I've spoken in the past. And then if I
Yeah.
actually got to speak, it would be filled with these savages screaming and yelling and not letting me speak, which has happened before, or getting up and walking out. At Stanford University a few years back, they got up and walked out. The whole thing was orchestrated by the school administration. And then they refused to let students who actually wanted to hear the talk come in, even
Mm.
though it was a big auditorium full of empty seats. So it's really a pointless exercise. And that's, of course, what they want. They want people to say, people who are patriots, people who are speaking out in telling the truths they don't want known. They want us to say, well, it's pointless to go speak at universities because they have a good indoctrination propaganda game going in universities and they don't want it disrupted. And so I say that reluctantly, but at the same time, I have to acknowledge reality.